what's up guys, it's Dan Man, your local mythological historian, bringing another big video for Godforge. And in this one, we're covering Isis, one of the most powerful and influential goddesses in all of ancient Egypt. You've probably heard of her before, but do you really know her story? In this video, I'm gonna break everything down, and by the end, you'll understand why she is the most respected deity in history. Make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe if you guys aren't already, so you can stay tuned for all my future videos. This one's gonna be fun, let's get into it. To understand Isis, you've got to start from the very beginning, and I don't mean with Osiris. Long before she became a legend, Isis was part of the Heliopolitan Ennead. Basically, the VIP section of Egyptian gods. Isis was the daughter of the earth and the sky. But Isis wasn't born into power. She earned it. She wasn't a goddess of war. She didn't throw lightning bolts. Instead, she ruled with wisdom, charm, and strategy. In ancient texts, Isis was called Great of Magic, Mistress of the Words of Power, and she who knows everything. Basically, if there was a spell, she knew it. If there was a mystery, she cracked it. Imagine Cleopatra meets Hermione Granger from Harry Potter with a sprinkle of Doctor Strange. Let's rewind. Picture this. Egypt is booming. Osiris is king, Isis is queen, and things are good. Crops are growing, people are vibing, the Nile is doing its thing. Then comes Set, Osiris's brother, jealous, ruthless, classic villain energy. He murders Osiris, not in some poetic way either. He chops him into 14 pieces and scatters them across Egypt like it's an ancient scavenger hunt. This is where most stories would end, but not with Isis. Isis wasn't just sad, she was furious. And instead of mourning in a palace like some tragic royal, she went out there and got to work. She disguised herself as a peasant and she traveled across Egypt collecting Osiris's body parts. She faced crocodiles, desert storms, and dark magic. She used her words and her wit, and she was persuasive in getting Set's own allies to help her. And when she found almost all the body parts, she used magic to bring Osiris back to life, long enough to conceive their son, Horus. So let me just reiterate that she literally resurrected a god. Yep, according to pyramid texts, some of the oldest religious writings in the world, Isis was the first being to perform a full resurrection. And she didn't just revive Osiris, she transformed his soul into the king of the underworld, protected his spirit for eternity, and made sure that death itself had structure in the afterlife. So not only did she beat death, she organized it. CEO level goddess energy. Now enter Horus, the falcon-headed god of kings. Iris raises him alone in hiding, while Set rules over Egypt like a tyrant. But Isis? She's not about to let Set win. She hides Horus in the marshes of the Nile Delta and teaches Horus magic, wisdom, and politics. Years later, Horus challenges Set for the throne in what's basically the mythological equivalent of Game of Thrones. Set and Horus battle for 80 years through court trials among the gods, gladiator-style combat, and magical shape-shifting duels. And guess who's behind Horus every step of the way? Isis, the ultimate stage mom, but like with spells. Now here's where it gets even juicier. Isis doesn't just fight with spells. She plays the long game, convinces neutral gods to back Horus, and even outsmarts Set himself. There's a moment in the legend where she disguises herself to trick Set into condemning himself, and it works. Total boss move. Eventually, thanks to her schemes and Horus's strength, they win. Horus becomes king of the living. Set gets exiled. Balance is restored. All because Isis refused to give up. But here's the twist. Isis didn't just bring peace. She made the afterlife possible. Before her, there was no map for what happened after death. No real concept of judgment, rebirth, or eternal life. She literally created the first funerary rites, taught humans how to mourn and bury the dead, and established the foundation for mummification. So the ancient Egyptians didn't just worship Isis, they depended on her. But power like that, it came at a cost. In later myths, Isis becomes so powerful that even other gods grow wary of her. There are stories of her manipulating the sun god Ra to give up his secret name, essentially hacking his divine powers to gain even more power. She was no longer just a queen. She was the mother of all magic. Isis didn't stay locked in dusty tombs and temple walls. She became one of the most worshipped deities across the ancient world. Her name spread from Egypt to Greece, Rome, and even into early Christianity. She was depicted in temples thousands of miles from her origins. Her image, the mother nursing a divine child, was so iconic, it may have influenced later depictions of the Virgin Mary. And get this, in 400 CE, the last known hieroglyph ever written in Egypt was about Isis. Even as the old gods faded, she held on. Isis isn't just a myth. She's the blueprint for female power in mythology, a symbol of grief, strength, magic, and transformation, and proof that resilience, intellect, and love can literally change fate. While male gods fought with fists, Isis changed the world with words. That's why her story still hits today. In books, in movies, in culture. You might see Thor or Zeus and Marvel or God of War, but Isis, she's timeless. She's in every story where a woman refuses to back down, outsmarts the system, and saves the day her own way. Isis, the healer, magician, queen of gods. But what if her story isn't over? What if the goddess who mastered life and death is waiting for the right moment to return? With her powers, theory crafting is endless. I imagine Isis as an interdimensional traveler. Another thing to think about is how her son is Horus, so I could see a connection with the Eye of Horus, where it could potentially become a galactic beacon, activating anytime when Earth is on the brink of destruction. What if your dreams of flying, healing, seeing beyond time were Isis calling to you? Isis is confirmed in Godforge. And she's not just a goddess, she's a legendary. What kind of lore do you think we can expect coming to Godforge for this queen? Drop a comment down below. The developers are definitely listening, so you could let your theory become reality. In the age of Godforge, power is forged not just by might, but by legacy. And Isis, mother of Aru, may become the keystone to the divine balance. As far as Isis in the Godforge universe, Isis isn't just a goddess of healing, she's a strategist, a queen maker, and a master of resurrection. But in a realm where gods battle for dominion, her role could be much darker, or far more divine. I've been bouncing back and forth between theory crafting some ideas, and the main focus that I boiled down to is that her allies would definitely be Osiris, her husband and king of the afterlife, Horus, her avenging son, Thoth, the god of wisdom and magic. And then where it gets crazy is looking at like the cross-pantheon alliances that could be made. I'm really hoping that she blends with Ishtar or Athena. I think it would be pretty epic to see Isis create like a secret faction of female divine strategists focused on balance, intellect, and cosmic justice. And then the best thing to look at is the rivals of Isis in Godforge. Set is definitely one of them, the god of chaos, classic Egyptian rival. Hades, with the underworld versus Aru, competing afterlives, clashing ideologies, judgment versus redemption. Then we have other magical tricksters, like Loki, who could challenge Isis' mastery of magic. And then the other dark feminine forces I was thinking about was Tiamat or Kali, mere reflections of Isis, if she were corrupted. My big lore theory, though, is that while the other gods rage in the Forge, Isis builds. She resurrects people, unlocks ancient power, and might be the only one who can rewrite divine fate. The storyline could evolve, where if Isis dies in the game, she reincarnates stronger, like some kind of literal phoenix mechanic. And then to go really outside the box, what if Isis is secretly crafting a god? One that's never existed before. A divine fusion. Or an entirely reborn pantheon. That's all I got for you guys. I hope you guys learned a bunch. Hope you guys had some fun. Throw the video a like and subscribe if you guys aren't already, so you can stay tuned for my future videos. There are a lot more gods coming. I appreciate you all. Stay blessed. I hope you guys have a great night. I'll see you on the next one.